From the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things and makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Good morning and welcome. It's a brand new day, a brand new week, of course, and we welcome you to the program Voice of the People this morning. But for short, we call it VOP this morning. I am Moses Humphrey.
And I'm Fina. Okay, Chukwabidi, welcome to today's show. Today is also the 25th day in the month of November 2024. Quite interesting. The month is gradually coming to an end. And you know what that means?
Oh, well, I wonder why some people are excited, because I think it makes no difference, really. Oh, well, one reason that might make you excited is the fact that Dangote Refinery has decided to drop petrol price from 990 naira a liter to Ipman to 970 naira a liter. Oh, well, let's see how this impacts on the lives of Nigerians.
All right. Good morning, Moses. Good morning, Fina. And good morning, the viewer at home. And thanks for joining us. I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Why are you happy?
I'm very happy.
Yes,
yes, I'm very happy because according to Doyo Okukpe, Tinubu's reforms will take 2 years to show results. Now, the former Director General of the Peter Obi Presidential Campaign Organization, Dr. Doyo Okukpe, has said that the economic reforms of the president will take 2 years to yield results. Meanwhile, we have the president telling us, my reforms are already yielding results. So what form of contradiction is that? And if I may ask Doyo Okukpe, what is 2 years? When is 2 years? And what reforms are we talking about? Is it about the removal of the fuel subsidy? Is it about floating the exchange rate? Do we have reforms in the health sector, in the education sector, in the security sector? What reforms are we talking about? Moses, please, can you help us?
I can't help you. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
But you know that, Wala, you don't say something about how the subsidy removal made Nigerians to, have $20
billion.
So
and we are borrowing money even with $20 billion in our kitty.
Instead we've chimed that also to be what we use in working in the health sector, infrastructure sector, and all that other ones. So don't you think it's kind of yielding results as a case maybe?
Well, exactly the problem. The president says currently we are seeing
results.
Doyo Okukpe says 2 years.
Well, Doyo Okukpe is not a spokesperson
from the sidelines.
Well, he's just speaking from the sidelines, speaking as a concerned Nigerian. Some have said he's looking to get some sort of endorsement or employment, looking to probably be assigned a spokesman. Since the president has multiple people, he's looking. But he said he's 72 or 74, and he's not looking for any sort of employment. But anyway, Those are his thoughts. But what I have a little problem with is the comparison that he drew between President Bola Tinubu and Obafemi Awolowo. That comparison for me is a little off. We know that Awolowo had, a lot of progressive ideologies.
Vision.
He had free education, compulsory free education for children in primary school. He had compulsory healthcare for those under 18. All right. He had developmental projects where he built the cocoa house in Ibadan. But Tinubu basically is being credited for what he did in Lagos. And that in itself is debatable. Some Nigerians are saying he didn't do much in Lagos.
You see, Moses, one thing that excites me about the Obafemi Awolowo free education is that it has produced fourth generation graduates.
Oh, yes.
I mean, if you're a graduate, there is no how your children will not become graduates and subsequently fourth generation graduates.
Exactly.
And that is one of the things that has kept the Southwest more like being sophisticated in a sense. So when you compare Awolowo with Tinubu, I mean, the gap, it's so wide.
Let's see and know if those reforms and policies are going to yield a result where we'll now have maybe sixth generation graduates,
But Fina, that's if we have, if we know the policies you are talking about.
Well, he has brought out the student loan, so let's see how that works out when students
really need loan
take
at
the
this
loans.
point
Well,
in
that's
time?
the thing.
We're talking
Is that
about
what we
grants,
need?
not loans.
Oh, well, we'll get into the papers shortly. We'll also be discussing some of these issues that we've raised already. And we'd like for you to come with us as we do all of this. But there are a few other issues that, bordering Nigerians. So let's just chime into some of these issues. Now, the Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, they've called on President Bola Tinubu to investigate the alleged diversion of over 57 billion naira from the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation in 2021. Well, that's, of course, one of the conversations. And then there is another conversation around the president's son, possibly being prepped up to become the governor of Lagos State. We hear that the Lagos PDP has firmly opposed the idea of Sheyi Tinubu. Look at him looking dapper on the screen.
Like a bloke.
The son of the president, Bola Tinubu, running for governorship position in 2027. Well, this comes after endorsement from groups like the Coalition of Nigerian Youth Leaders. And then Friends of Sheyi Tinubu as well. That's another group. Well, some are saying, should he be prepped up? Some are of the opinion that he's a Lagosian, he's a Nigerian, he has a right to contest. But the fact of the matter is, I know a lot of Nigerians may not, find this palatable, seeing that his father governed Lagos and still has a grip hold in Lagos. But how has the lives of Lagosians been affected? I think that's what we should be discussing, really. Lagosians, civil servants in Lagos during the time of the father, that's the man at the helm of affairs right now, will they say that his principles were progressive enough? Some will say salaries were old, mostly old, and developmental projects were not as much. Development came much later when his predecessors came into office. But in Africa, we have a situation whereby sons take over from their fathers. Togo is an example. Nasingbe, we've had the son taking over from the father, and by the time he completes another, I think he's running for his third term or thereabout, that will be the Nasingbes ruling Togo for about 48 years. Yes.
Okay, all right. Moses, I want to start from SERAP, what SERAP is.
Okay.
SERAP is asking that, look, we have to trace 57 billion naira, that's been missing from the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation in 2021. Some people have also alleged that particular ministry, more like an SPV, purpose vehicle,
Yes.
for government
Monies
to,
are being,
to take away money and all of that. It's quite interesting that we are looking for 57 billion naira. Look at the way I call it, billion naira, because
for emphasis.
For
You are
emphasis,
emphasizing it.
yes, because that's huge. That's huge. It can take care of so many things for our people in the health sector, in the education sector. I mean, for like how many years? ASU has been asking for 200 billion naira. And I don't know how much they have received. And in one ministry, we are just looking for 57 billion naira. Well, I like the fact that SERAP has raised this issue. The Attorney General of the Federation should look into that matter, do some, in collaboration with the police, do some investigation, and ensure that, look, people are brought to justice if they have actually taken away that amount of money. Now, talking about Shaitin.
But before you move over to that, Chukuma, now, SERAP also took the whole, talking about this ministry now into court, demanding that Umar Sadiya Farouk should present how she spent a particular amount of money while she was there as a minister of that. And we also heard about how there was also mismanagement of fund using a better aid. Up until today, we're yet to hear anything about that. We just heard that she has been suspended. What happened after the suspension? And we also learned that a particular number of bank accounts were also, during the course of investigation by Anti-Graft Agency, were linked to that particular crime. We've not heard anything. It's
yes, Fina, we've not heard anything about it. But like our people will say in our local parlance, all join together. I like what SERAP is doing. I like Moses the other day we did say that SERAP looks like the last man standing.
Oh yes.
We like what they are doing. They are always going to court. They are always in the public trying to educate Nigerians. Look, this one is missing. This is what we can't find. This is what is that. And sometimes they even secure judgment in favor of the Nigerian people. Now that they have come out again to say, look, we are looking for 57 billion naira and called on the AGF, to intervene and ensure that this money is recovered. History will record it for SERAP. Like we always say that, history has a long arc and it naturally bends towards justice. One day in our history, SERAP will take its glory, whether they are alive or not. That is one thing about holding leaders to account. Now, let's go over to what the PDP is about Sheyi Tinubu. If you ask me, in all honesty, the only way that anybody can stop Sheyi Tinubu is at the ballot. Not through press conferences or all of that. The young man is entitled, to contest for the governorship of Lagos. You cannot disenfranchise him because his father was governor of Lagos State or that his father is president.
But is it more like now, are we running a family business in Nigeria?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But I mean, we are talking about he's been entitled to contest.
And talking about the ballot.
Also cited the fact that, look, in Togo, we have the 3 Nasimbes, Let's even go to the US. As at the time, Bush 1 was president. Bush 2 was governor of Texas.
Yeah.
At a certain time,
So
Jeff.
he basically
At
has
a certain
the
time,
rights.
Jeff was also governor of another state. So he's entitled, to contest. But the thing is, it is left for the people of Lagos to decide whether Sheyi Tinubu will be their governor or not.
Chukuma, let me ask you this question, though I'm trying to be a bit personal. Look, just take a holistic view of the 2023 general election that just happened. Talk about the ballots. Nigerians come out in mass to cast their votes, to make sure that their own opinion, their voice has been heard. Now, do you think that election also, the result of that election, do you think it was being decided based on the votes that Nigerians casted?
Which one? Is it the February 25th or the governorship?
I'm talking about the whole election, from the February 25th election, the governorship election and all that. Now,
in February 25th, it's very clear now, APC lost Lagos State to Labour Party.
Lost in Lagos, yeah.
But when they went for the governorship, a lot of water passed under the bridge, and now APC won. So talking about ballot, you see, the thing is a people thing, people, power, and politics. People have to take their destiny into their hands. You see how people came out with bloodied faces, bloodied noses, to cast the elections on February 25th, and at the end of the day, almighty APC lost Lagos State to Labour Party.
Well, do you like I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and this came up, and I asked the question, do you think this will happen again? Well, I don't think that will happen again.
Let's see
how it goes.
Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Well, let's get into another conversation as well. Media personality Reuben Abati recently shed light on a unique Igbo tradition, according to him, the reluctance to sell land to outsiders. Well, he recounted an intriguing incident involving former Minister of Information, T.O.S. Benson, who attempted to buy land in Igbo territory for his wife and daughter, despite his status. TOS Benson was informed by his in-laws that land sales to outsiders were off limits, underscoring the community's deep-rooted customs. Well, this raised a lot of, dust on social media. Some have tagged him enemy of the Igbos. Well, let's take a look down. Let's look at it basically. Igbos, do they sell land to outsiders? Yes, they do, especially in city centers. All right, places like Aba, you can come buy land for commercial purposes. You can. Anybody can purchase land. But when you get to the interiors, the villages, traditionally they hold on to land because there's a lot of ancestral attachment to lands. So it's neither here nor there, really. It all depends on, the purpose for which you want to purchase land in Igbo land.
Even in the ancestral home too, if you have good intentions. If you have good intentions,
so you have to have good intentions.
Yeah, they will sell them.
Well, I guess that's what
some people will tell you, you're not coming to set up maybe molders. Let's say lounge hotels in their areas because according to their traditions, they don't want something like that to happen so that the people will not be corrupted. But if you come, let's say, want to build a residential home, you want to build an apartment, they will let you do it.
All right.
I don't think this is
Moses, if you talk about ancestral land, Aba is people's
ancestral home too, yeah.
Like Isaleko, just like Owerri. If you know Owerri very well, Wedra Road is people's ancestral home.
Exactly.
So you don't expect people to sell the land to you where they buried their parents and all of that. But that said, I think there's a lot to talk about with what happened the other day, Abati and Ojo. In the first place, I'm a little taken aback that the Igbo nation could pour out, in that manner to talk about Reuben Abati. What he said is that Reuben was quite mischievous anyway, because if you look at it from the scholarship perspective, he didn't do his homework very well. Theos Benson is dead and gone. Now, you say something that Theos Benson said. You didn't even verify. You didn't double check. Because we also understand that the good people of Mbieri, from where Theos Benson married, said, no, we can't sell land to our in-law. He's more like one of us. We would rather give him a parcel of land, which they did. Abati didn't check that. That was quite on scholarship of him. Now, as a professional, I'm sorry to say this, but Abati doesn't come out like a run-of-the-mill journalist. He came in from the top. I can't recall when Abati reported as a reporter, when he was in the streets of Lagos reporting. So he quite clearly doesn't come across to me as a pure journalist. He could be an OA personality, OAP. And what happened between him and Ojiokwe, was quite unprofessional. I say he was mischievous in the sense that when Oji gave him the opportunity to recant, he now brought it, do you want me to come after you? Which means he clearly came after the Igbo people. If he was asking Ojo, do you want me to come after you? He came after Igbo people. And nobody should tell me that nonsense. It was unprofessional to use that against a colleague.
All right, then. Okay.
Moses.
Let's move away. No. Let's move away from the issue of Abati, and let's talk about what's happening in Nigeria.
Now, Abati is Nigeria. Is it a Nigerian thing?
Well,
the fact is that you don't, with the experience of one man, now stereotype.
That was quite the stereotyping.
So that's why I say he was mischievous.
Yes, and Nigerians have condemned that stereotyping. But anyway, we'd like for you to be part of the conversation here. Follow us on YouTube. We are Voice of the People on YouTube. Check out the website. It's voptv.ng, and be part of. Check us out on other social media platforms as well at VOPTV Live. Now let's get into the papers now. Let's take a little break. When we come back, we'll be looking at stories that made it to the cover pages of the dailies. And I'm pretty sure Reuben Abati's outburst against Igbos will not make it to the cover pages of the dailies. Let's talk about that one in a bit.
Thank you so much for staying with us. It's quite interesting that I will have to, deviate a bit to talk about other things. But now we have the national dailies before us to look at. And we have the Nigerian Tribune, we have the Daily Independent, Daily Trust, the Punch newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, and a whole lot more. And I will start, by telling us what made it to the cover page of the National or the Daily Independent newspaper this morning, with the banner headline reads, experts warn of businesses in Nigeria collecting payment in dollars. Right after that story, tax FG to prevent dollar dominating country's economy. Worried foreign airlines violating BASA arrangements. Asks FG to enforce CBN Act that criminalizes refusal of Naira. And the window headlines are, People raises 14-man panel to probe Obaseki. Restores full statutory right of Oba of Benin. Dangote Refinery records ex-depot price of PMS to 970 Naira to a litre for marketers. And we have other stories on the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Serap asks Tinubu to probe missing 57 billion Naira in humanitarian affairs ministry. Tinubu, Buhari, others are accidental leaders. That is coming from Bishop Kuka. That story proper is on page 7 of the Daily Independent newspaper. Nigeria, Brazil, packed to boost agric in 774 local government areas, attract $4.3 billion. The story is on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper. We are committed to paying Heritage Bank's uninsured deposit, NDIC. Lagos government hails Supreme Court ruling on lottery regulations. The story is on page 6. Telcos. Rules loss of 70 million subscribers in 9 months face bleak future. And right after that bold headline, in Dalima over NCC refusal to approve tariff hike. And the last but not the least of the headlines you will find on the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper is Zenith Bank kicks off Yota season with Lagos as Jose Ade Ogun street lights up. The story is on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper. And that's all the stories that made it to the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper.
All right, so we have the Nigerian Tribune up next. Banner headline there, PDP chair, fresh plot to retain Damagum beyond 2025 unfolds. And then window headlines, FCTA releases list of CFO debtors in Abuja. See details on page 25 to 25 and 133. Dangote Refinery reduces petrol price from 990 Naira to 970 Naira for marketers. And then we go further, we have $17.1 billion IDA loans, projects abandonment, Naira depreciation paint black future for dollar loans. We paid 1 billion Naira ransom to bandits. Southern Kaduna community cries out. I take that one again for emphasis, and I would like it to sink in. We paid 1 billion Naira ransom to bandits. Southern Kaduna community cries out. All right. University of Oxford invites Jimo Ibrahim, Australian PM, to talk on mega projects. That's Jimo Ibrahim, Australian PM, to talk on mega projects. Nigeria, Brazil sign MOU to boost agri-business in 774 LGAs. And then we also have Nasima, OPS, caution on impact of arbitrary taxation on business, economy. Clark to Kekeriekun, Buhari's removal of Onohe, a dent on Nigeria's democratic record. Tinubu, Buhari did not prepare for governance. Kuka, a mockery to critics, economy rebounding under Tinubu's reforms. And then Southwest speakers, other principal officers to push for full legislative autonomy. Plan to meet Governors Forum to update fund management laws of Southwestern parliaments. Now, these are the headlines. These are the headlines from the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, let's now quickly run through the Daily Trust newspaper with the banner headline. Presidency lobbies National Assembly over tax reform bills. With the rider, proposed laws meant for good governance. Daniel Boala. I think Boala is beginning to talk now. We also have the window headlines. Dangote Refinery reduces petrol price to 970 naira per litre. Now, fact check, House senators misinterpreted constitution to endorse CCT chair's removal. Senator Barau equips Kano Police Command with 1,000 motorcycles. We also have ICPC tracks 21 billion naira constituency projects in Kaduna. Now, 8 killed in Abuja-Kaduna road crash. That's a very sad one. Also, I could have been a drug addict, according to Obasanjo. I guess that should be our former president. Now, let me take that again for emphasis. I could have been a drug addict, Obasanjo. Now, we also have 3,000 litigations stall AMCON's 5 trillion naira loans recovery. 3,000 litigations stall AMCON's 5 trillion naira loans recovery. And that's all from the Daily Trust newspaper.
Well, that's pretty much all we can take at the moment, yes? So we're going into the conversation proper, Fina? Mm-hmm. Well, Dangote Refinery's drop in petrol price from 990 to 970. That's the conversation we'll be having. Let's talk about this one when we come back from this break.
From the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills 3 things and makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Thanks for joining the conversation again. Now let's get into it. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery has announced a price cut for premium motor spirit PMS from 919 naira to 970 naira per litre. Now this was confirmed by Anthony Chiejine, the Group Chief Branding and Communication Officer. This move aimed at appreciating Nigerians for their unwavering support in making the refinery a dream come true. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Wale Adu has revealed that Nigeria has saved $20 billion by ending the petrol subsidy and adopting market-based forex pricing. Now, these savings are being redirected to infrastructure, health, and education. Despite the subsidy removal, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, disclosed a 7.8 trillion naira debt for under-recovery, raising concerns about the country's economic strategy. Oh well. Dangote giving Nigerians a Christmas gift. If we could, we would have loved to see that publication where that announcement was made known. It was some sort of Christmas gift, yes, that one. And it reads, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has effected a reduction in the prevailing price of its premium motor spirit from 990 to 970 naira per litre for marketers. As the year comes to an end, this is our way of appreciating the good people of Nigeria for their unwavering support in making the refinery a dream come true. In addition, this is to thank the government for their support, as this will complement the measures put in place to encourage domestic enterprise for our collective well-being. While the refinery will not compromise on the quality of its petroleum products, we assure you of best quality products that are environmentally friendly and sustainable. We are determined to keep ramping up production to meet and surpass our domestic fuel consumption, thus dispelling any fear of a shortfall in supply. Words of Anthony Chejene, Group Chief Branding and Communications Officer, Dangote Group, Dangote Refinery, of course. Oh, well, we have with us in the studio Barrister Darlington Agumwa. Good morning to you, Barrister. Good to have you.
Good morning, Moses. And how was the weekend?
Very well, thank you. And also we have a communications consultant and a major player in the oil and gas sector, Aki Fatunke. Good to have you with us as well.
Always a pleasure to be here.
It's interesting.
Good
yes,
morning.
It's good to have you on this show because we've talked about Dangote Refinery, it being a savior to Nigeria. We've talked about this for quite some time, but it hasn't seemed to be what Nigerians are looking for. And then the back and forth between Ipman and Dangote and government, importing fuel, not importing fuel, stopping importation, and all of that. But now we hear, while Nigerians are still, fuel is available, one would say, the queues have, reduced drastically, so there is fuel, but then it's still, cutthroat, pretty expensive. What was your first reaction when you saw this reduction? 20 naira reduction, really? Should Nigerians be jubilant?
Well, thank you again, Moses. Should Nigerians be jubilant? It depends on what side of the fence you are sitting at. Is Nigeria productive? I don't think the answer is yes. Is Nigeria optimal? The answer is also not a straight yes. And to produce anything, is it very, very overly expensive in Nigeria? The answer is yes. So if a Father Christmas comes and he becomes what economists call an oligopolist, okay, right? Okay. So he can provide and he can fix its price and he can ensure supply. So my first reaction would be, thank you very much, Dangote Refinery. What would we have been if that did not happen? Of course, we'll still be ramping in imports. I don't know for how much. You have to put money on adulteration, which I know has always gone in that direction for so long, and which the Dangote Refinery has, quote and unquote, been able to help us resolve. Logistics, demurrage, plus the omnibus smuggling. Okay, by the time you put all that together, we'll not only be paying out of our nose, we'll really be, extracting value to the outside. So my first reaction will be, thank you very much, Alhaji Dangote. And thank you very much, all the other players, including Moman and then Ipman, all of them, that at least we are sort of eschewing various differences. But to the real core, which is, how much are we really paying? So, shaving of 20, How much does it cost Dangote to produce a liter of quality fuel? And the midstream regulatory authorities, I mean, can we have a look at it? Can we make it a bit much more open? So if you are not doing your own oversight function or doing it very well, for instance, and you also have refineries that you have run to the ground.
How much would you say? How much would you say from your experience in that sector? How much would you say it will cost ordinarily to produce, quality PMS?
It's difficult.
It's difficult to tell.
It is not even possible.
Oh, really? Why
yes.
so?
Because you have to. I mean, that will. I might as well say it should not cost you anything. But I know that by the time you ramp up all your other costs and put them together, okay, now we now have naira pricing of flats, so that should naturally reduce. But there is a standard template. The question you asked me is, there is a standard template. Back in the days, we call it PRA template. It tells you the cost of flat, this is the cost of what the marketers are going to be taking, this is what the transporters are going to be taking. By the time you now ramp all that up, what is going to go out of that angle now, perhaps are two, in my mind, critical factors. One will be the logistics. We are now producing it at home. We are not importing. And then the other, of course, will now be, all right, if you sell it in Lagos at 200 naira, you cannot naturally be expecting to sell it at 200 naira in Enugu.
Yeah, logistics, movement, and all of that.
So logistics, movement, and don't forget that inflation, transport inflation is all-time high. And don't also forget that in between government, the refinery, the players, and then so many others
does
who come
the type of crude oil we have in
picture.
Nigeria also determine the pump price? Because someone said something about how Nigerians crude oil is kind of different from what other people have, and that is the reason sometimes they import dirty fuel for Nigerians. Does the type of crude oil we have also speak to the amount that is PMS will be sold?
The crude oil that we have in Nigeria is called sweet crude.
Okay.
High grade, super fantastic, high quality. So by the time you take that sweet bonnet-like crude, it's much more expensive. You take it into the international market and compare with others. But the reason why you are having the contamination or whatever is because
the blending,
hands come into it. People want to cut corners. People want to cut costs, and the kind of refinery activity that we have in there, we have grade A refineries, we have grade B refineries, we have the ones that are under. Nigerians will say that they are going for the high grade, and then they will bring the low grade. As I speak, Rotterdam Refinery, one of the biggest that we have in the world, is closing down on account of a Nigerian refinery in West African sub-region coming on stream. So the point is, naturally, it should give us one, high-grade quality. By the time we do all the franking and distillation, we will now have what you call some other adjuncts that can bring money to us.
All right, Barrister Darlington, let's bring you into this conversation. You've heard what Chejina said on behalf of Dangote Refinery. 20 naira reduction in the pump price to marketers. Then marketers will now, whether they are also going to reduce that 20 naira to the end user is a different thing. What's your reaction? And they say it's a Christmas gift. Being a Christmas gift, is there a likelihood that after Christmas they will revert to the old price? Let's have your take on...
Or maybe higher price.
I am not excited though. Because ever since this Dangote thing came to the front burner, we have been having so many stories that nobody can verify from Dangote. So many stories. In fact, the story changes like lightning. You hear something today, but the following day you hear another thing. So, this news that there is a 20 naira reduction. Has Dangote told us the actual cost of producing 1 liter of fuel from a refinery? That means the man has been making a killing from us.
Should he tell you?
Why not? Why not?
Why should he?
Then I will appreciate the 20 naira reduction.
He's a private
businessman.
It's not enough because he is using our crude.
Which crude? Are you giving him free?
Hold on. We gave him crude. In fact,
you didn't give him crude. You sold crude to him.
The culprit in this matter is the federal government, who have refused to tell us the deal they have with Dangote over that naira crude buy. It's the federal government. They have been so complicit in whatever is going on with Dangote. They are the ones who are supposed to come and tell us. If they truly want to make liberalize the oil industry, they shouldn't have made the Dangote a monopoly.
Sorry, Barrister Darling, yes. What exactly do you want the federal government to tell you about the naira crude purchase?
Good. They should come out and tell us that, look, based on this arrangement, the fuel must not cost so more than a liter.
No, why would they? Because they didn't tell you that they are selling to him at a lower price. I mean, if you have $1 to 1,700 naira, and the price of crude oil is $75. So what they will simply do is to transfer, do the calculation and sell to him. The essence of asking him to buy in naira is so that we don't put further pressure on the forex demand, on FX.
You see why the federal government should do that? Is because we want to know whether Dangote is protecting somebody's interest in his business. We need to know. That's the difference is it that he has built it into the cost of his fuel, so that at the end of the day, somebody will not take something away from the actual price. These things are possible now.
But he also saw that Ipman, I think that was on November 13th or thereabouts, also come up to say that they are reducing the price of fuel to 50 naira. They said they are going to reduce by 50 naira, saying that for their members who were able to purchase at 940 and 970, they can sell depending on your location. Now, I'm not saying that with this from Dangote, it's not going to have an effect on Nigerians, whereby we will now have to buy this fuel on a cheaper price.
You can see permutation of figures. Ipman is saying something, Dangote is saying something.
No. Ipman said theirs earlier. That was when Dangote said they are selling to them at 940 and 970. Is it for imported fuel?
Remember, some people are still importing. Remember, some people are still bringing in fuel. Have you forgotten? So how much are they going to say that?
But it might come up to say that they have forgotten about the $24 billion deal that they have because they want to buy solely from Dangote Refinery, even when we know that there's deregulation. So Ipman said they are buying from Dangote Refinery, and that was why they forfeit that particular deal.
Forfeit what? Forfeit 24 trillion naira. I don't understand. Forfeit it to who?
They said they are not going to. They want to invest. They want to buy from Dangote now. So they're moving away from importing.
Okay, the fuel that came to the port just 2 or 3 weeks ago, who owns it? Or were you not aware? We discussed it here now. Where was it imported now? Is that not a fact?
There's deregulation.
So you are cool. We are saying the same thing. So people are still importing, but want to know exactly what was the deal between Dangote and the federal government concerning the crude buying. Nobody have told us.
The thing they told us is that Dangote will buy the fuel in naira.
At how much?
Crude oil in naira.
How much?
Equivalent to what the international body is selling.
No. You see now.
The only difference is that it is going to be in naira, so that, like Chukuma rightly said, the pressure on FX can reduce, so that naira can gain its value. If we keep on doing that business in dollars, it's going to affect the FX.
Listen very well. I don't want us to believe what these people are telling us. In the first place, you have been told here that we have saved $20 billion.
We're getting to that.
Hold on now. Now, where is the effect of that money in your naira dollar exchange?
Well, I do say it is in education, in health, and in agriculture.
He
didn't make mention of that.
It will start with the naira exchange. It will start with it. That is the only thing that will make me believe that, what they are telling you is the truth.
So are you not seeing the effect in exchange?
No, hold on. No. They have made so much money. They want to go and borrow. The National Assembly just signed a loan for Tinubu just 2 days ago. Is that not true? So how could they have made so much money and you are still borrowing? Please, this does not add up. It does not add up. Seriously, it doesn't. Somebody is telling lies here as usual. How can it add up? You have so much in your kitty. So are we now caused to be borrowing money? You mean we like to borrow money when you have enough at home? It doesn't add up. So let nobody go there at all. What I'm not saying that this 20 naira they gave you as Christmas gift, is it after Christmas they will now go back or what? He didn't explain. And how are we sure that ab initio we have not been shortchanged in the price they are giving us? Because I have somebody saying it the other day, one oil expert, he said that this is supposed not to cost more than 500 naira. Based on the fact that Dangote is refining at home here. 500 naira per liter. Has anybody come to contradict that? The answer is no. So whatever they like, they just tell you and me. And you think somebody like me will believe. No, it's not. Dangote,
are you blaming Dangote, an individual businessman who is out to make his profits, over the fact that the Nigerian government is here to make their refinery to work? Listen
very well. You see this crude oil. That is what Saudi Arabia is using to better the lot of their content. That is why the people there, they are not even paying tax. The tax they pay is in fact is so small that it don't even matter. They are using that oil to better the lot of their people.
All right.
Libya is doing the same thing. Okay. Every other OPEC country is doing it. So why is it that every time you don't factor all these things?
Exactly.
You factor it
exactly.
now.
So let's bring back
Let's
bring back Mr. Fatuke into this discussion. Mr. Fatuke, do you think that Nigerians should be entitled to a subsidy on petroleum? I say that in the light of the fact that when the president came in, the reason for removing the first subsidy was because, look, a certain people, had mismanaged it by, earning so much unduly from the subsidy. It was more like people were profiteering from it. Don't you think that it would have been better if the president comes in and says, okay, now that we have a private refinery here in Nigeria, since we are yet to fix our own refineries, now, in continuation of that subsidy, let us reduce the price of crude oil to this our local person, so that reduction will also reduce the cost of fuel to the average Nigerian. Isn't that way a better way to have gone, so that Nigerians can continue to enjoy either the first subsidy and then the low price of fuel? Because at 970 naira per liter to the marketer, it's clearly not helping the situation.
Chukma, I will come to that presently. I repeat that I am tackling Dangote Refinery, Mr. Dangote, in whatever color that we want to put it, that he's helped us to resolve one very key and critical aspect of the shenanigans that we have in the oil and gas for more than just maybe since 1958 when we discovered oil at Oloibiri, we have run ourselves to the ground, and that is to ensure supply. Not just to ensure supply, but supply at good quality. We were not getting adequate supply, and we were not getting quality over the years. He's coming to try and shore that up. Thank you, you are like a Father Christmas, put it that way. Because we don't have any other fathers that we can depend on. The other fathers, we have run ourselves to the ground. Now, we talked about, should we not continue to subsidize? Subsidy is an acceptable economic intervention method for all developed economies. In fact, those who are developing. The only difference is that when you are going to be subsidizing, point must be subsidize production. Subsidize downstream. The petrol that we are talking about, you are subsidizing consumption. And anytime you have removed all those values and you decide to subsidize consumption, the person that is going to consume it can decide to do so many various things. He might decide that he's going to take it. He might become to go usury. He might decide that, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'll get as much as possible and then go and smuggle it out somewhere else. That government has decided that they are going to sell to the Dangote Refinery in Naira. It's a form of subsidy. Well, government ordinarily, economic actors will say, if I'm going to get $100 for this barrel, if I sell it in the international market, and I come back home and take a decision that I'm going to try and sell it in Naira, you are going to see that there is a kind of a differential. But you took that decision because you want to protect. I'm happy Chejena made that statement there. You want to try and protect the local industry. To, like you rightly said, I think it's FINA that accentuated that, to try and help protect the Naira is going to be very marginal. Okay, my dear brother, barrister has also asked aptly the question, wait, what are we talking about? Why are we still borrowing? And all that. If Edu, Mr. Wali Edu, has quoted that number that we've taken from, removing subsidy at one point in time, he's right. Which one is the truth? Did we take it off fully, or are we still subsidizing and all that? You are not going to get that effect on your foreign exchange. You are going to get that effect on Naira that has come in, that the various tiers of government are now sharing at all levels to try and meet up their demand. Is it going to be enough? Yes or no? The real truth of the matter, Chukuma, is just simply that of transparency and trust. When you do not trust or when you don't have transparency, you lead to so many, and that is the truth. What really is happening? It was asking also, like I asked, what is the cost of production for Dangote? But you're also right. Fela, you are right to say that, if you don't want to buy, go elsewhere. But government has a responsibility that since they have run our own commonwealth to the ground and continue to be a sinking hole, and you and I see it every day, money is pumping there, promises are made, you are not getting anything. Dangote came like a William Tell, it's not William Tell, okay? Like a Robin Hood, it's not Robin Hood. So now they say, look, my people, okay, I'll give you quality supply, I'll give you
steady supply.
Steady supply,
Okay.
And I'll give you employment.
All right.
I will make sure that locally, the local content is
guaranteed.
Okay. It is now the job that is. If you shirk your responsibility, it's not the job. There are people. Yes, Dangote is a private, it's a private company.
Okay. So,
but
sorry,
auditors go there.
Oh.
So many other people go in there.
In all that you have said,
yeah.
In all that you have said, whether it is subsidizing consumption or subsidizing production, if you say that the government has subsidized production by selling to Dangote in Naira, but they have also not subsidized consumption for the people, because the selling in Naira has not reduced the pump price of fuel, which is at the crux of the matter. Okay. Now, if a liter of fuel used to sell 220 Naira at the maximum in different parts of the country.
Even when we are importing.
And when even when we were importing, and when the president said subsidy gone, the thing jumped to 560, 600, and as at last count, it is selling at 1,030 Naira.
Okay.
The question is, shouldn't Nigerians be entitled to fuel subsidy?
Well,
He also admitted that countries subsidize at one level or the other. Okay. If we keep buying fuel at 1,030 Naira, it's going to affect transportation, it's going to affect food inflation, it's going to affect every other thing. So what explanation do we have for that?
I will make it simple. So don't let us go into technicalities. You buy yam in the market, don't you?
I do.
We do.
Don't you plant the yam in your area or in an area of Nigeria? Yes, you do. The cost of that yam, if you go to the food basket in Benue State, should not be more than 20 naira, 30 naira, 40 naira. By the time you add in all your fertilizers, don't forget, all these inputs too, they have their own little human intervention and all that. And you want to produce it in mass quantity. You need energy, you need light. You are not going to say because you produce it in Benue State and you don't have light, you decide to get solar, or you decide to use diesel energy. That is part of your input cost. So from 20 naira or 30 naira, your cost of bringing that yam to the surface is not going to be anything less than 50. So by the time you put all that, okay, so if the whole of Nigeria is Benue State and you can do it there, you can do your circle in Benue State, but you need that yam in Abakaliki. You need that yam in Lagos. You need that yam in Kodangora. You have to try and make sure you transport it there. If you are going to transport it, you don't have a cargo that can help you bring in factors of production and get in there. You transfer by road. And when you are transferring by road, you know all the gatekeepers that we have on the road. We know all these things. All that these things that are called cost of production, cost of doing business.
Mr. Aki, what
wait now. What I'm trying to say is, I'm just giving you
the same analogy. If you take it as an analogy, the crude oil production goes to
ordinarily. When you tell me it should be sold at 500, I don't know how you are.
No, I didn't say that. I said shouldn't the price of fuel come down?
The price of fuel is going to come down when
will
have
that happen?
When you have competition. Okay. You don't have competition now. Okay. You know you don't have competition. So if you believe that the only competition that you have, which I disagree with, is you said the regulation or not the regulation, people should make in the import. Products. I have been in this business, and I can tell you, those are part of the challenges we have.
But we now have somebody
who has put his own hard-earned money as a private businessman. Is providing quality. We are looking at the price now.
He said he's providing quality and he's going to make sure it is sustainable, that this product will be everywhere in the market. That, it must say something, Mr. Akin.
Yes.
They said earlier before now that importing fuel is kind of cheaper than buying from Dangote.
Yes.
Now, what really changed? What happened? Why did they now turn back to say, no, we don't want to import again and let's stick to Dangote Refinery? That is one part. Okay. And then bringing it back to what Chukuma asked about the subsidy. Before now, Wala Edun told us that 5.4 trillion naira is what Nigeria will spend in 2024 if we are to keep on paying the subsidy. Now, he said that we've made $20 billion from subsidy cuts and removal. And he made mention of how they chime it into infrastructure, agriculture, and health sector. Are we seeing all this play out? Are we seeing the effect of that money? And if we're not seeing the effect of the money, where is this money that we have saved from fuel subsidy removal?
Fina, for an umpteenth time, whatever it is I say, whatever any other person says, you choose who to believe and not to believe. Let's start with Ipman. I am a proud participant in that industry for years. Ipman will not sit down, or Mama will not sit down, and will not have an argument we can go to and fro. If you say you believe Ipman, that Ipman says they will go across, go and bring the products, and you also know that they have brought the products over the years. It included contaminated fuel. I'm not saying they are the ones directly, at least within that chain. Your cast nog and all that. The sulfur content that you have in diesel is very, very high. We came together with predators locally, decided we are going to commingle and put some things in plane We saw so many planes crash. These are all costs. I believe Dangote. And I'll tell you one of the reasons why I believe Dangote. When I was in that industry, I belonged to the class where we were interfacing with NNPC. Shamefully. As at that time, I don't know about now because I've since left. We didn't have high-grade, world-class laboratory where you could test when things come and how they should come. I was in the middle of fuel contamination when it came to this country. It was our private lab that were able to resolve the question. Everybody started saying, no, it's this particular person. In fact, my company was even accused. I was saying, wait a minute. Dangote has one of the, oh my God, one of the best labs. It's like, you see, the way I'm looking at it is that Nigeria, Atlanta, when Nigeria under 20, whatever, when they won the World Cup. Yeah. Is it possible for Nigeria? Yes. It came out of the blues. So that is number one. Then secondly, I've already answered it, Phil. Okay. You said, where is that money gone to? I say, yes, the money has gone into the revenue, mobilization, and allocation. And states are getting more naira to be able to. So that is one. And you also mentioned it, whether we believe or not, that attempts are being made at some form of infrastructure. You will look at those infrastructure and decide that maybe they are not priorities. No. It's another subject entirely.
Let's bring the barrister. Let's bring the barrister into it. But I'll come back to Mr. Fatunke. Yes, when we talk about Utapate crude. That's Nigeria is now exporting Utapate crude, about 40,000 barrels of it, and how that brings some funds into the country. We'll talk about that one. But let's bring it to the barrister. Barrister, Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, has said a few things. Subsidy removal and how Nigeria has saved up a lot of money. $20 billion, I beg your pardon. I think I need to add the currency to it. $20 billion that Nigeria has saved. But you do recall, Barrister, that right after the president said subsidy was gone, some months later, there were conversations around the president considering partial subsidy, that coming back. And then there was also the conversation around the NNPCL saying Nigeria owes it about 7.8 trillion naira in under recovery. And then we had some sort of shortfall, subsidy shortfall. Are these words meant to confuse Nigerians or basically educate the people? Because I'm struggling to know which one these words are for. Can you help me out, Barrister?
Yeah, Moses, that is what it is. They have been deceiving Nigerians.
Which one? Educate? Deceive, okay.
Yeah, deceiving Nigerians with words. All this terminology that doesn't make sense, either here or outside Nigeria. Because I've always argued, why is it that throughout the 16 years of PDP, we were paying subsidy for 30 million liters of fuel per day? 30 million. It didn't go beyond that. And with it, we were seeing some modicum of enjoyment. We had an economy, we had middle class. And things were looking up. Immediately APC came into office. This same 30 million jumped to 60 million and up to 68 million. And nobody questioned it.
Don't you think it's because more Nigerians bought cars and all of that? More usage of fuel and that.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just asking.
No. It's not. That's not the issue.
But our population wasn't static.
No.
You said for 16 years.
Hold on. Are you telling me that more Nigerians bought cars under Buhari's harsh economic?
No, I mean within the 16 years.
Barrister, why don't you look at it from the point of view that the power sector was supplying lesser power, and Nigerians and industries had to depend on PMS and diesel?
You are not getting what I'm saying. As at that time, PDP was not fair. I told you they were paying subsidy for 30 million liters.
Yes.
How come immediately APC came in 2016, the thing jumped to 60 and 68? What was the difference? Nobody have told us. Remember, the man at NPC, I think that was their financial director, was invited by the National Assembly. I've said this several times. To come and explain how much liters of fuel are we consuming. The man said that he doesn't know. That he's estimating it to be 68 million. But listen very well, that they used to add 38 million into what they are pumping into the system every day. They now ask him, so that extra 30, who is taking it? He now told them that, look, with 5 million naira, you can export our fuel up to Chad everywhere, you know. Nobody looked into that particular. This fuel subsidy thing, Moses, Fina and Okoro, if we do not find out how much we are consuming in a day, nobody will give me an exact amount of what is going on here. Because that is where the fraud is. I'm telling you, this so-called Dangote pricing, fuel subsidy removal, nobody has come to tell me, okay, hold on. Why is it that other countries are doing the same thing, the same subsidy, and yet the economy has not collapsed? Nobody has answered that question in Nigeria, including the so-called experts.
But at the point, we were told that we consume 45 million liters.
It has come down from 60 to yes, it has come down. So what
you were looking for the figure.
So that will tell me that we don't even have an, including the so-called experts. How come in a country like this, we don't have anybody who can tell us that this is how much we are consuming in a day?
So are you now saying that the money, $20 billion, which Wale agent said is being sent to infrastructure?
He just said it. He just said it to tell you that Tinubu is saving money. There's no money that's being saved. If not, he will not be borrowing money. No money is being saved here.
He didn't say it was. He said it was being chimed. It was being sent to
challenge to where? Meanwhile, have they given us their money? Which of the hospitals, which of the schools are world class here with 20 billion? Look, you see this line, it has a way of catching up with you. Okay. By next year, ask what they do. That $20 billion you say, where is it? Where did you put it? Okay. He will start telling you, going round and round, permutating figures all over the place.
All right.
Nobody is telling us the truth about this oil industry. Nobody.
All right then.
Unfortunately, the people that went in there now, I thought they were going to clean up there, but it's getting worse.
It's a lot confusing.
I'm telling you, very, very confusing.
More confusing by the day.
More so when other OPEC countries are enjoying with this same crude oil. What is our own difference?
All right, Barrister, let's bring the question to Mr. Fafatunke now. Yes, I talked about 7.8 trillion naira. NNPC said federal government was owing it. That was just in August. And now we're hearing that $20 billion have been saved. Can you help me make sense of it, please?
Yes, I will. Not by banding curious numbers. Yes. My dear brother said so-called experts. If he would bend down and go and really review, he will see what the experts of Nigeria have been saying since 1999 in respect to our consumption. Nobody has been able to do that. Mm-hmm. We had a minister of petroleum who is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in Obasanjo, and it has continued, had a bit of an abatement during Jonathan's time. But you know so many things that went down the drain. So the whole thing is in opaque. My dear brother also now then said that, during PDP's time, you will remember very well, 2012, January 1, Okonjo-Iweala, Sanusi, they all came out in town hall to tell you that the numbers being bandied cannot be true. They cannot be true because so much of what we say we are producing finds its way elsewhere. You've got to get yourself imbued in knowledge. And so to your question, if you don't even know what you produce, How can you even be saying you want to know what to consume? It's all in a sham of massive corruption. And I guess there must be a reason why the cash cow of Nigeria will be where everybody will now then be saying you can't have a petroleum minister. Those are some of the things that will help engender what I'd call trust. 7.5 subsidy gone. I have said it here on this table. Yes, subsidy might have reduced within a period in time. It was never gone. The under recoveries that you mentioned with NNPC, it's so clear that we are still paying subsidies. Nobody will tell you. I remember there was one time, and I challenged, Fina. When I said, Fina, you believe that? I don't believe it. But if you choose to believe, no. They say, let's come to the brass tacks of doing what you call forensics. Attempts have been made to get into forensics. We started with CBN. We saw so many things, shenanigans, the political will to now look at that incubus that you call NNPC, break it down. That's why the fact that you say NNPC is now a PLC. NNPC was a PLC. Moses, we took a decision during Buhari's time to take so much money that had been borrowed to decide to go and do a Kurumani refinery because we wanted to crack. Was that not what even happened with the Kaduna refinery? Is that the kind of priority? So we must come to that brass tacks. What I don't want to do, which I think we should not do, in my mind, is to now cherry pick. Okay. One particular person is better. The whole thing is freaking of corruption.
My colleague
over and over.
reminded me of a question I asked you earlier. I talked about the Utapati crude that Nigeria is exporting now. Is that going to bring us some sort of respite when it comes to monies and the rest of it?
Quote that figure again.
Utapati crude. We hear that Nigeria is exporting, just exported actually, 40,000 barrels.
The way I quote it, why 40,000 barrels? Why not double of that?
No, 40. Yes.
Why not triple of that? Don't we have the capacity to do that? We have the capacity to do that. So, but even then, so they say half bread is better than. If you export that, you are going to get something that you call petrodollars.
Petro what?
Dollars.
Okay.
Isn't it? Multiply all that and look at the real needs that we have. It will only just touch it at the base. But economists say,
in the ocean.
Economists say it's marginal. Thank God. Can we therefore continue to see how we can rake in production? Like it or not. For close to about 10 to 15 years in this country, this government, like it or not, they are also trying to ramp up production to 2 million. So much has been stolen. So much is being stolen. Attempts are being made. I am not saying it has eradicated all. So if we can do all this, super. Now, how does it affect you and I in the downstream?
Yes, please.
When you decide that you are going to export and you are going to bring in imported crude, are you getting the correct yield? There are so many things that are gone with those barrels that is lost. And I know some people are benefiting from all that. And the only thing is to shatter it all out and let us, like you said, in other countries, everything is open and transparent. Okay. You are not going to get, in other countries, I'm not sure it's aware that other countries, the presidents of those countries or whatever it is, they are not the petroleum minister.
Yeah.
So let's go to the roots and scatter the whole of this thing in a way that hopefully we'll have transparency, we'll have accountability, and then we'll have development.
Yes, you did talk about competition, as that will help the petroleum sector, help Nigerians make sense of it all.
Yes.
Yes. But then how can we truly have competition, seeing that Dangote Refinery has, insisted that government stop importation. That's on one side. Dangote Refinery is a 650,000 barrels capacity refinery, and
largest in the world.
Largest in the world. And if they're able to produce, we don't. Please remind me how much we drill out, how much we get, how much crude we get. If all of it is sold to, if 650 is sold to Dangote Refinery, do you think there'll be any left for any competitor?
Good question. Very brilliant. We are going back to production. 150,000 barrels refineries that we have in Port Harcourt and Warri and all that. They are not getting it because they have been run to the ground. Beyond that, another subject entirely. Those refineries are sitting on a bed of oil. And like he says, like you know, like she knows, and Chukuma knows, we keep on lying. We are going to do turnaround maintenance and all that. If these refineries were working the way they will be working, it will serve as some kind of competition. What Dangote has single-handedly done. All
right.
What Dangote, I took my place. What Dangote has single-handedly done, if you can do it, go ahead and do yours. But government that needed to have done what they need to do, you sold your battery. Everything has been sold out there. Then you are not producing enough. You remember, but for Yaradua and the amnesty, or no amnesty, again, so many other things came into it. We are not producing our OPEC quota.
All right.
And because we are not producing our OPEC quota, and like I told you, cost of doing business is still on, and then corruption is still on. Everything is be like.
All right, Mr. Fatukwe, one
Yes.
last question before we probably move on to the next conversation.
Yes, Chukuma.
I want to ask you, in all the economics, all the production you have talked about, you also agree to the fact that the average Nigerian deserves fuel subsidy. You did. Now, the point of it is this. And you also talked about corruption within the industry and as the reason why we are not even getting the benefits of the subsidy.
Okay.
Now, should the average Nigerian, 217 million at last count, pay for the sins of ineptitude in leadership, sins of just about 100 people or less? Because in all that you have also said, in all that we have talked about, nobody has been brought to book for the mismanagement of the fuel subsidy. Again, what do you think Nigerians can do, or Nigeria as a government can do to ensure that the pump price of fuel, if it doesn't go back to 220, it should hover between 220, 300, at most 400 naira. You didn't say anything about it. What do you think we can do? Quick one, sir.
Chukuma, so when you say subsidy, Nigerians qualify to use the word subsidy. I would say efficiency in terms of you are able to produce your crude, you have so many things going on for you, and you can bring it down the cost of production. In economics, what you are paying at the pump today would have been something double that. So the subsidy, therefore, will be what ordinarily you will be paying at arm's length and what you are already complaining is high. That subsidy is the under-recovery that we are talking about.
No, the under-recovery now, Mr.
Wait.
No, it's not that. The under-recovery is the fact that NPCL says that Nigerian government is owing them that particular amount of money. Recall that they were the sole importers of gasoline in Nigeria. And this actually happened because of the fact that Nigerian government were like, okay, we can't be able to do this. And this issue of under-recovery came up when Nigerian government asked NPCL to drop 19 point something trillion naira to be what's there to give Nigerians. So why is it that they didn't say anything about it up until the time that the demand for them to pay back what Nigerian government is expecting for them happen? Why is it that they come up to talk about half of the money?
So what you are saying, how is it different from what I was saying?
No, you're trying to say that the under-recovery plays out.
You brought me here to analyze. Subsidy. I am making analysis. You jumped into it. And all what you have said is exactly what I am saying.
No, it's not what you're saying, Mr. Fatima.
Okay, it's not what you are hearing. So I can understand it's not what you are hearing because you can't understand it. But all I'm saying, the under record that a liter of crude will have so many other derivatives that we can gain from. It's being lost. It's going into somebody's
All right then. Well,
somebody's pocket.
If we keep up
It
with
is
this
a
conversation,
very complex.
we will
It's so
go
very
on
complex,
and
and the only way,
We'll go on and on.
and the only way,
Unfortunately,
okay,
we
all right.
have to wrap up this conversation.
There is nothing complex here.
Okay.
It is you people that are making it complex. This
By you
is
people, you mean
yes, every one of us here.
we're making it complex?
I'm not joking. Listen very well, though, because I have read things about this so-called.
All right, so you have like a minute.
Yes, in other clients. Why is it working smoothly over here, over there, and it's not working here? It's because of what? We don't have leadership.
So it's
All the things they are telling you here now that this and that and that is all about what? People's pockets, nothing else. Nobody is telling the truth here. That's not the main issue. As for Dangote, doing what nobody have done is a lie. The federal government helped Dangote to become what he is today. You and I helped Dangote. At a point, he was
That's
the sole.
what he's giving us.
Yeah, hold on. At a point, Dangote was the sole importer of all the essential commodities in this country. Throughout Abacha, throughout Babangida, he was doing business with them now.
All right,
and he was not even paying
we are
at the port. So if you are given such a privilege, won't you make money? Why can't they encourage another person now? Is it only that did they the petroleum
engineering? There are other refineries coming up on stream.
Why have they not been helped? Why have they not been helped to come up?
is one of them. But anyway, let's
it has to be from the north. It has to be from the north, Abi. Nobody can do it here.
It depends on who has the funds to do it.
Are you serious?
Yes. Oh, well, let's get into another conversation now. Still on the president's reforms, we hear that some individuals, Donyo Kugbe actually, said that the reforms will take 2 years to start showing results. Well, the presidency says its reforms are already showing results. Let's talk about this one when we come back from this break.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Veteran politicians Dr. Odoni Okube, known for his outspoken nature, has criticized former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party's Peter Obi, claiming they offer nothing new for Nigeria. He dismissed their claims of election rigging and praised President Bola Tinubu as a reformer, predicting his policies will yield results in 2 years. Okube, who has served as a spokesperson for two former presidents, addressed critics, accusing him of seeking a job from Tinubu's administration. He emphasized his long-standing commitment to principled politics, citing his past support for various leaders based on justice and equity. Meanwhile, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has urged President Tinubu to address the economic hardship facing Nigerians, particularly hunger and poverty. They called for comprehensive economic reforms to alleviate the suffering caused by recent policy changes. We still have with us in the studio Barrister Darlington Agamoy, a political analyst, and Mr. Akin Fataga, a communication consultant and arbitrator. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with us still in the studio. Now, Barrister Darlington, a quick one. Dr. Donyo Kube says the policy in 2 years' time will start working. Is it that he do not understand that there's a projection that 133 million Nigerians by 2025, will start suffering the issue of famine and, the aftermath of it too? And is it that he's not also of the opinion that the fact that we have multidimensional poverty now in Nigeria, there's no middle class anymore? What does this really put? And what do you make of this his statement?
Donyo Okube is becoming unnecessarily vocal in support of Tinubu. Remember where he's coming from. He had been in PDP, he had been in the Labour Party, and now he's fighting so hard to get into APC. So such a man, for God's sake, can you take his words? Can you take his words and go anywhere with it? It's not possible. He's just telling you what he feels. Just want to attract attention so that they will do for him what they did for Buala. Nothing else. The 2 years he's talking about, has he told us how they will get to that 2 years? What is that economic reform that will take you to 2 years when we now have a paradise here? Is it possible? The answer is capital no. Nothing is going to change because the indices, the foundation has been battered. Look, when you are building a 300-story building, it is the foundation that will determine whether that building will stand or not. With what we are seeing now, and with the borrowing, it will be difficult. Because you need to pay your loan for you to now have a breathing space. Did he tell us how Tinubu will remove the debt that is hanging on his neck before we can talk of the development? Did he tell you how the Naira will at least get to 500 Naira to $1? These are facts, hard facts. Not just come and tell us this and that. Did he tell us how fuel will even go up down to 500 Naira per liter? That is when the economy will be showing signs of improvement. But with this climbing high, like Iroko 3, he's still telling in 2 years, what is that thing that will make this thing to improve in 2 years? What are the infrastructure? What are the indices? Look, just 2 weeks ago, we talked about it here. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria said that they have over 1.4 trillion naira worth of goods unsold. Are you telling me that they are not producing since that time? As they are producing, the thing is being warehoused. So at what point will Nigeria begin to see this paradigm? But everyone tell you in 2 years, in 2 years, in 2 years. So that in 2 years they will not flood the market with fake achievements, Abi. Then people like those people supporting them will go to town and say, yes, we told you that in 2 years things are going to look. Can't you see? A bag of rice is now 30,000 naira. Okay. Meanwhile, they imported this rice.
Barrister Darlington, let me stay with you. Now, Doyo Okwe has come out to say that the reforms of the current president will start yielding results in 2 years. But the president says my economic reforms are already yielding products. So who should we believe?
You know, when there is double speak, we don't even have a spokesperson here now. That's what I'm saying. When you lie, you didn't even know when you repeat the lie you have told us yesterday.
No, the president spoke for himself. You know, he didn't have to use an aid or what. When the IMF president visited him last week, he said, my reforms are already yielding results. So the question is, what reforms are we talking about?
Let us take it one by one. That of Tinubu that says yielding results. Please, did he point it out? Mr. Okoro, the Tinubu point out.
That is the question I'm asking. Have you seen the results?
I didn't see. Has
inflation come down?
I didn't feel anything. That's why we're asking psychophants who are supporting him. Let them tell us.
We are still borrowing money to support our budget.
Exactly.
Is that the result?
13 trillion by next year, yes. These are the reforms that are improving. So when I told you here that when people tell a lot of, they don't know, they won't even remember that this slide they're repeating that they have told us.
Are there reforms in the health sector? Have you seen any?
I said I did not see any.
Have you seen in the education sector?
I didn't see any.
In agri? In insecurity?
As we see crying for their money that they have not been given.
So what reforms? What?
I don't know. That is what I was asking Udoyo Okubu. Let him tell us at least. Let us begin from the beginning. Tinubu said it has started yielding fruit. You said 2 years. Please let us look at that of Tinubu because he's the man in charge here. Let him show us. Let him tell us what are those things that you have done so much that we cannot feel.
Okay. Barrister Darlington.
There is nothing.
Let me still stay with you. I read Doyo Okwe's interview, and he was very extensive in that interview. And he said something that I've always said here. You know, he made an analogy between Tinubu and Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore. When Lee Kuan Yew came into office, he made policies that were very harsh, that affected the people adversely. People complained. Singaporeans complained and all of that. But the man was not dissuaded. He kept moving on with those policies. Like IMF has said, look, sustain these policies for the next 15 years. You are going to see the results. Do you agree, or don't you say that, look, Tinubu might actually be going the way of Lee Kuan Yew
Yeah, Mr.
Because it's like
Mr. Goro, please don't compare apple and orange because they are fruits.
no, but I think
It's
that was what Donyo Okupe said too.
No, leave what he said.
You don't agree with him?
I will never agree with him because they are incomparable.
How?
Lee Kuan Yew is very sincere. He's focused. He doesn't have all these tribalistic tendencies. He's not nepotic. Lee Kuan Yew jailed his own brother for corruption. Lee Kuan Yew, his own brother, is on record. Why didn't Donyo Okupe mention that? Can Tinubu do that? With all this corruption, can he do that? The answer is capital no. So why do you compare? It's not possible.
Now, Mr. Akin Fatenke, he just made mention of the corruption and all that. Bishop Kuka made a statement. He said Nigerians have been working, recycling accidental leaders, even in this present election that we have that brought in Tinubu. Do you also share that line of thought? And as you also look at what Donyo Okupe said, that Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi does not have any new thing to bring. They don't have any new thing to bring to the table. Now, do you think Nigerians have been busy recycling, leaders by accident?
So I'll take them one by one. I do not see what Donyo Okupe has said realistically that others have not said. Serious-minded now, not politicians coming to make analysis on and outside. Nigeria has been battered, he said so. The foundation is wobbled. And when you have a foundation that is wobbled and you want to rebuild, it comes with pain. It comes with structural adjustments. Very, very much so. Nigeria is not going to be a magic wand that politicians are now going to come and say, if this particular person was there, we won't be suffering and all that kind of thing.
Sorry, Mr. Fadik, are you selling politicians or politicians?
I said politicians.
Politicians, that's trick, as in trick.
Of
politicians.
course.
Okay.
And is that not what my dear revered brother, Bishop Kuka, is saying? We are not only recycling, in fact, we are recycling with numbers you can count in the hand. They have captured the state. They are in all the political parties. And they keep on making sure that we have SDG goals, 17 of them. They keep on being in the right. As to, for instance, what has Bola Tinubu done? I think what Bola Tinubu has not done is prioritizing and leading by example. In not prioritizing and leading by example, but concrete attempts have been made.
You said leading by example?
I said not leading by example.
Okay, not leading by example.
Yeah. So, for instance, Bola Tinubu came and said things should not continue to be the way they are. Take it or leave it. We must begin to debate issue of state police. If you say he hasn't done anything, well, no problem. He also now looked at the constitution. That can we begin to do a few things differently? Local government autonomy. There is no policy that you are going to bring. You want to be straight in a rough jacket. We don't see things differently. And you say Bola Tinubu has not done anything. Well, that's okay. And then look at the tax reforms that we are all looking at. A way out that will take us to our next level. We are still all saying it should not be.
Well, he seems to have done quite a,
What I am therefore saying is that when you are in a marshland, Chukuma, if you are in a marshland, even if you like, jump up. Even if you like what.
But it took him 30 years to prepare for this position.
You keep on sinking. You keep on sinking. I already addressed your point. Your point, therefore, is who is ready to lead Nigeria? It has to be a Nigeria that is restructured. I always say that.
Okay.
So now, if you do not restructure Nigeria in a way, a manner that will do elections every 4 years or after 8 years, then we will still be in the same quagmire.
Okay.
So far, there's a lot of pain.
Allow me, Button, at this point.
Okay, please do.
Now you talked about some of the reforms, some of the things that he has put in place. Interesting things.
Thank you. You accept that.
But then,
please, have any of them seen the light of day?
Barrister,
That's it.
Barrister, you have your time.
Go ahead.
But
go ahead.
you know, let's look at how much he inherited in terms of debt when he came into office.
Yes.
We hear that. Well, I did a bit of digging and
Please.
some comparison,
Yes.
and I saw that Buhari left office with about 87 trillion naira. Left, debts.
In debt.
Yes, 87 trillion naira in debt left Nigeria. And then Tinubu in his in Q1, quarter one, has taken that 87 trillion to about 121 trillion naira.
Right.
That's approximately 34 trillion naira increase in it.
Yeah.
What's that?
How do we?
How?
Yes.
You want to know how?
Seems to be borrowing a whole lot more. And this is quarter one, less than 2 years in office. And by the time he does 4 years, where will we be?
You just asked me how.
Please
I'll
go
give
ahead.
more how.
Okay.
Were you in this country
I've always been in this country.
you have been in this country when Labour was talking about minimum wage? Did we go to print money?
So we
You
borrowed.
don't think, well, I
With
mean,
the fuel subsidy, we
wait.
still borrowed money to
Wait.
pay debt. I
you
mean,
have your time. You have your
Okay,
time.
I'm just guiding you
No, I don't need your guide because you guide me to share. And that's not where I'm going.
because some people are listening to
I'm
you.
very, very, very positive.
Okay.
So, you also forgot, as you said you were in this country, that we are still agitating and saying whether it's 70,000, they were asking for 140, 150, that it's not enough to take anybody home. It's an indication that we have run, wait now, we have run ourselves to the ground because we asked for why. However, that number that you quoted for Buhari, how much of it is debt stock that you can put on the table that this is what we used this debt to do? Back then, I remember very well, one of the swan song was we constructed the Niger Bridge. Somebody is going to tell me we didn't do that. I know that. We started the railway, we decided we were going to take railway to N'Djamena and all that. You remember? What Bola Tinubu has done is to try and get what I would describe as efficiencies in the loan management. Before now, we were paying up to about 97, and it was going to be everything that we earned to be paid as debt. Through this bit of a restructure that we are going, which is a pain, it has come down. Finally,
It has. Oh, really?
efficiency.
Okay.
Efficient. You
Just
see,
trying to understand.
you must understand. Finally, in this 2025 budget, hopefully we are going to get into it. There's so much misconception. 2.2 billion US dollars and all that. Where is it coming from? It's going to come from IMF supported. Listen, Nigeria did a 9%, 6%, 9% Eurobond. IMF is coming with a concessionary loan of 1%. You don't have to draw it down.
Are you comfortable with the fact that Nigeria is borrowing about over 9 trillion naira to shore up the 2024 budget when it's about a month to the end of the year?
Oh, well, I'm not only worried, but I'm aware that we have been in the hole. And we've got to get out of the hole.
Even after custom have given us 5.
All I am saying, what is this money going to be used for? Is it going to be used to buy private jets? Is it going to be used to buy presidential jets? Those are the priorities.
So if the monies are used to pay salaries,
Yes.
would that take Nigeria out of the quagmire?
Okay.
Seeing that ordinarily countries borrow to build infrastructure that they will get back money to pay back debts.
Exactly. So you should pay salaries.
But
So should we borrow to pay salaries?
custom revenue. No, Mr. Kuma, custom revenue.
We are saying the same thing. If you are saying, please, I'd like you to repeat what you have just said, that we should not borrow to pay minimum wage. then I'm okay. Then we're different.
Should we borrow to pay minimum wage?
We are borrowing to pay minimum wage because
That is the question.
Wait
Should we
now.
borrow money to pay salaries?
Mr. Man, you are not earning enough. You're not making revenue, and you have to pay your staff, and they are all going to whatever. All I am saying,
I disagree.
We are not. Excuse
The money
me.
is going into conduit pipe.
Barrister, please hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Is that not what we started with? The revenue base in Nigeria is been shrinking.
So we are not making
We
enough.
are not producing.
We're not making enough.
We are consuming.
Okay.
And part of the consumption is all the fuel subsidies, that thing that we are talking about, including making sure that we pay minimum wage.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
If Chukuma is saying to me, I don't have a problem.
He's asking.
Wait.
No,
No, it's not.
Should we
No,
borrow?
no.
Should we
We
borrow?
shouldn't.
But we have.
Of course. Should we not?
Unfortunately.
Should we not?
All right then. Sorry. Let's.
Are you saying we should not? If you say we should not, that's what I want him to accentuate, and you are agreeing. If you say we should not borrow money,
Let's get
so
to Paris.
to your tent, O Israel.
Let's get to the barrister. Barrister Darlington,
Yes.
take the floor.
Moses, the only thing that is keeping this economy where it is corruption, and because you don't have a competent leadership. I am telling you, these are the two things, because with all that we have made so far, from Buhari to Tinubu, all the loopholes they say they are plugged, all the money they have collected from
Buhari to Tinubu.
Yes, now, because Buhari said that
The others are clean. Of course.
If you are-
I'm only
hold
helping
on,
you.
hold on.
PDP has been clean.
Hold on, I'm coming. How much debt did Jonathan leave in office? Is it not 12 trillion for 6 years that he was in office? Is that not true? Please, somebody should answer me.
Go ahead, barrister.
Is it not 12?
Go ahead, sorry.
So, if he left 12 for 6 years, how come you, under 1 year, you ballooned it to over something?
How much was crude selling during his time? How much is crude selling now?
Oh, really?
No, yes, really.
Oh, good, fine. Now, that crude you are talking about, remember that your naira was devalued under this Buhari and Tinubu. If you make $1 million worth of crude, when you bring it here, you are talking of over 1 point something billion naira. Is that not excess money for them? Why didn't they do something with it? The borrowing, where did it go to?
It doesn't help the exchange rate.
But the fact remains that
and you know that.
The fact remains that they borrowed more money
Okay.
in the whole of Nigerian leadership or Nigerian experience over the years. All the years we have been in, people have been coming and going, both military and civilian. These two administrations, Buhari and Tinubu, they have borrowed more money. Even, I don't know, even the people that borrowed money outside here is incomparable. They say we are now number 3 most indebted nation. Number 3. Look at the size of the economy. All the things, the natural resources we have that we have been exploiting and manipulating. Where is the money? Remember that under Tinubu's 1 year in office, over 20-something trillion, 24 trillion naira was said to have been borrowed, and we're asking, this money, where is it? What did you use it for?
All right.
Because these are pertinent questions. So it's not enough for us to come and tell us that somebody is doing something. You're not doing anything. You are just doing your pockets. That's what I'm saying here.
All right.
You are doing your pockets.
So much to talk about.
If not, to open the book, let us see.
So much to talk about concerning the reforms and the economy and all of that. Now, talking about the 2025 budget, we understand that the National Assembly, has finalized, no, not approved yet, has finalized preparations to, receive the president for the 2025 budget presentation, the loudspeakers, to ensure that the lights are not taken when the president is speaking or when he's on the floor of the Senate and all of that. What do you expect in the 2025 budget?
Good.
From NAS, from National Assembly.
Good. I have had experts, those who know how these things work. They have used their microscope to look at that budget, and they have told you that is a disaster waiting to happen by next year. That's what they just said. That's the final word. They said that 2025 budget is a disaster that is going to befall Nigeria if it is approved as presented by Tinubu. So what does that tell you? Are you talking about 2025? How about 2024? That you are operating 4 budgets, 4. Yet at the end of the day, nothing came out of it. This National Assembly should have asked Tinubu, come, before we can approve this, come and tell us The 2024 budget, what was the performance?
Are you sure they are not going to do that?
By what time? By this December?
No, as he steps into the chamber.
That's when they ask him. Then because
asking.
No, it's not possible. They can never ask him. They have never asked before. They have never asked before. They have never asked.
Isn't that more like going against the fiscal?
I said they have never asked before. Have the National Assembly called any president to come and explain something?
Isn't that going against the fiscal responsibility?
Exactly. That is what I'm telling you, that nobody is asking, because all of them are in bed with the corruption. All of them.
How possible is it that it's going to take only 40?
Oh my God! Please, when things are very obvious, don't try to massage it. Please, I don't like it.
But Barrister,
if there is no corruption, listen. The senior president told you that whatever Tinubu brings here, they are going to approve it. Was that the one that said, has he not been doing so? Has he not been doing so? Why is it that every loan they will approve without asking question? Is that not corruption on this?
I needed to ask you this, Mr. Darlington. Now, how possible is it that just within 48 hours, the National Assembly could call the committees involved, receive their later review, and be able just to assent to the borrowing of this recent money that 1.7 trillion that Nigerian government just had now to add to partially help to push the 2024 budget. How possible is it?
That everything happened in 48 hours.
Oh,
all the committees.
Please, if that is not corruption, tell me what is corruption.
All right.
Without asking what happened to the money you have been using. That's what I'm saying here. Budget is all about scrutinization.
So are we seeing?
Have you seen them scrutinize the budget?
Are we having a different National Assembly, different from the 8th one?
That is it, oh. That is not National Assembly for Nigeria. It's National Assembly for Tinubu. Because he appointed their leadership.
Sorry, as we cost to Mr. Akifatuke, I want to ask you the same question I asked Barrister Darlington. Do you agree with Doyo when he likens President Tinubu to Lee Kuan Yew? Has policies, to pave way for progress in the future. Do you agree with him?
I took my time to come here. I disagree with my fellow analysts vehemently. I like to put that up front on national television. His obsession with Bola Tinubu, he has a right to be obsessed. Excuse me, please.
You see, you are setting me up. I don't like it. What is obsession?
All I'm saying is
a man who came into office and turned this thing upside down like this. If it is the other way around, will you say what you are saying?
You have your time.
But don't set me up now.
All I am saying,
what do you mean by that? Even himself, he doesn't like what he's doing. He doesn't like it. So why would I not like it?
Barrister, please allow him.
Your prerogative to say what it is.
No,
all I'm saying.
Go to your analysis. Go to your analysis.
I'm just telling you for the record.
You will only accuse me of hating Tinubu if what I'm saying is not true. But if what he's saying is, if what he's doing is what I'm saying, then why should you not blame me?
Barrister,
that's what I'm saying here.
I have merely dissociated myself wholly with the statements you made here.
That what?
About the federal government.
That what?
So,
What statement?
Go back. Go back. No.
What statement?
No,
is it that there is no corruption in Nigeria?
It's very important.
There is no corruption. Tell me.
A communications person.
Yes.
And I will not be on bed with somebody that is making statements that is incendiary.
Are you sorry, Mr. What was that? What was the statement? What was the statement? What was the statement?
If that is all you want me to say, okay,
say it.
So back to your point.
No, say the statement I made now.
The 2025 budget. I had somebody, so maybe it's not him. Somebody said that he has gone to some experts and they said that the 2025 budget is going to be a disaster.
Yes. With facts.
Excuse me.
With facts, yes.
I don't agree.
Don't worry, 25 will come.
I believe
it will come.
That we are evolving. Yes, if you look at the past, truly, there are big questions. One of the things, therefore, I am expecting the National Assembly
It will be safe to wrap this up with your concluding thoughts because of time.
Will be, hopefully, that budget is not going to the National Assembly, and then you are going to pad it on with your own constituency projects and what have you. Secondly, you look at the priorities, and that is why we have checks and balances in government. Okay. Those priorities are what will benefit what Chukuma has been saying. The problems and the pains we are getting and not the executive. Thirdly, I expect the National Assembly working with license of different state governors.
All right. You have
to also then
less than a
key
minute
in.
left.
And finally, on the loan, I've already mentioned. I mentioned the fact that the 2.2 loan is a concessionary 1% loan. There's nothing about that. And compared to what the successful Eurobond that we did, 9%, you don't have to draw it down.
All right, then. This is absolutely how far we can let you
Thank
go
you
on
very
this
much.
one. Thank you very much.
Moses,
you have a minute.
Good. If we don't scrutinize 2024 budget and look at the loopholes and the pitfalls, then 2025 is equally going to enter the same what do you call it, bottomless pit. That is what I'm saying here. You cannot look at it. How much was 2024 budget? Was it not 27 trillion? Good. From 27, we are not taking it to 47. I mean, look at it yourself.
Isn't that ambitious?
I'm telling you, look at ambitious with what? What are the things on ground that will support what you are doing?
Well, some will say in dollar terms, it's really not much. But then that's what
I'm not saying. That why can't you cut your coat according to your clothes? The cut of your clothes you have, you just balloon it to that amount. What are you going to use to support it? You want to go and borrow money to support it? Is that a budget? Is that a budget? Okay. How far did the 2024 go? How far did it go?
Over. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We've been speaking with Mr. Akin Fatunke, who's a communications consultant, a player in the oil and gas industry, and an arbitrator. Well, also.
Thank you very much. I love that.
And we've also been speaking with Barrister Darlington Agumo, a political analyst. Well, thank you very much once again, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thanks for having us.
The duo.
Thanks for having us.
Interested duo.
He's going to buy me a caviar, whether he buys it or not. I'm going to put my hand in it.
Look, Moses said 2025 is already here. We'll come here and talk about this budget. Remember what he said to you. I will remind him. I will remind him. Don't worry.
I am positive for my country.
Okay, don't worry. No, that don't have to be positive.
Stay with us because at 9 o'clock we'll get into the analysis of headlines from the dailies. On behalf of the backroom staff and my colleagues here, Chukuma Okoro, Fina Okechukwu, and Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful day. Bye for now.